get so mad. But in the paper, it must be true. Captain Harvey Blood and Viscera Lincolnfurter certainly knew what he was talking about when he cried,
"War is heck!"
For moments later, he was blown to smithereens while making a run for it during the Battle of San Juan Capistrano. Captain Lincolnfurter was a hero. We can't all be heroes, but it's perfectly legal to have a hero.
What have you got there, Rock?
It's my Bullwinkle scrapbook, Bullwinkle. In here I keep a record of your heroic feats.
Come on now, Rocky. My feats aren't heroic. Big, maybe, but not heroic.
Just the same, you're my hero, Bullwinkle. Don't you have a hero?
Well, I'm only human. Of course I do.
Who is it?
Same one as you. Me.
That may seem silly, but as Bullwinkle just said, it's only human to have a hero.
That's right. Here I am only part human, and even I got hero.
Boris, why are you all the time playing with your finger scar-nosed doll?
I just told you, he's my hero. I don't got no namby-pamby hero like Squirrel. I got real crummy, rotten, evil, unclean stinker. Enemy #1 for hero.
Oh, it's nice to have somebody you can look up to, darling.
Scarnos has been my hero since the time he turned his own mother in for the reward.
Yes, it figures that Boris Badenov would choose Finger Scarnose as his hero. For even as a baby, Scarnose had strong bad guy tendencies. Let's look at the record. Finger Scarnose was born just below the Lower East Side in a section called Heck's Kitchen. And when Scarnose was only 6 weeks old...
I'm telling you, Mama, the kid is a bad seed. He's a fink clear through.
What kid's that, Papa?
Our kid, Fingers, that's who.
How can you say such things, Papa? The kid is only 6 weeks old.
It's easy to say things like that. I just went in to kiss him goodnight and he tried to roll me.
That was only the beginning. As Scarnose grew older, he took to stealing hubcaps with the cars still stuck to them. At the age of 4, he hijacked a diaper truck, but they couldn't pin a thing on him. He learned to lie, cheat, steal, and make zip guns. And then one day, Scarnose fell in with a bad crowd.
Go on. Tell him how he graduated from reform school at the head of his class.
He graduated from reform school at the head of his class.
That's right. He was magna cum lousy.
As everybody knew he would, Finger Scarnose grew from early hoodlumhood into full-grown gangsterhood. Today, he is a mature punk, Mr. Crime himself, kingpin of the underworld.
And he is my very own hero.
Please don't get so excited, darling.
I want to be just like Scarnose when I grow up.
You are grown up, Boris. Now quiet and listen.
In a recent report at a fact-finding committee, Claire Louse Booth stated that...
It's been common knowledge for years that Finger Scarnose is a dastardly criminal. Why hasn't he been flung into prison?
Yes, why?
Perhaps the DA can answer that.
We can't get anything on him. You know, handcuffs, leg irons, things like that.
Why not?
We've never been able to get anybody to testify against him.
You mean there's never been a witness against Finger Scarnose?
Oh, yes, the East River's full of them.
No, then our hands are tied.
So were the witnesses.
Does this mean that Finger Scarnose will go on and on making millions through his criminal activities? Will there never be a witness brave enough
Or stupid enough.
to testify against Finger Scarnose? Be sure to learn the spine-chilling answer to that in our next episode entitled Bullwinkle Sneaks a Peek, or There's Room in the River.
Once upon a time, there was an old wood chopper, and he lived in the woods, which is a nice place to live if you happen to be a wood chopper. His wife had presented him with a fine son, and as the years went by, they were very happy. That is, until one day when they sat by the fire, his wife looked up to him and said,
Pa,
she always called him Pa.
have you noticed anything strange about our boy Tom lately?
Strange? Oh, Tom, could you come in here for a minute, boy?
Yes, Father.
Hey, let me look at you, son. Mm-hmm. Stick out your tongue.
Bah.
No, can't say as I do, Ma. What do you mean?
Well, he seems a mite smaller than he should be.
Oh, land's sakes, Ma, give the lad a chance. He'll grow as he gets older.
Older? He's 28 now.
Just the same, he's gonna grow. Won't you, boy?
Yes, Father.
But as year after year went by, Tom didn't grow an inch.
Tom?
Yes, Father.
Now, you better mind your daddy and grow, you understand?
Yes, Father. I'm trying.
The problem grew as Tom didn't. Being so small proved to be a constant danger to the young man.
What's the matter, Pa?
Don't move. There's a cockroach on the table. I'll get him. There, you little varmint. Oh, sorry about that, Tom. Does it hurt?
Only when I laugh, Father. Ooh.
Then there was the time that Tom fell down a crack in the floor and was missing for 3 weeks. Until one day when...
Pa, have you seen any witches around here lately?
Why, no. Why do you ask?
Well, I think one sneaked in here and cast a spell on our vacuum cleaner bag. Listen, it talks.
Help! Help! Let me out of here!
Oh, there ain't no spell on that bag, Ma. You done vacuumed up our boy Tom again?
It was finally decided that something had to be done, and the old man called to his son.
Now, this here gone on long enough, boy. Now, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm going to make you grow.
Yes, Father.
Now, maybe the whole trouble is you ain't eating enough food. Now, eat this whole watermelon. We're going to see what happens.
6 months later, Tom had eaten every bite, and his father carefully measured him, but he still hadn't grown even the tiniest bit.
Dag nabbit, boy, you just ain't trying.
Yes, I am, Father. Honest.
The old woodchopper kept right on doing everything he could think of that might make his son grow. He stuffed little Tom full of vitamins, fed him with all the food he could hold. He exercised him from sun up to sundown.
1, 2, 1, 2, up, down, touch them toes, lift that weight, tote that bar, grow, you little critter, I want you large. Now, we skip the rope.
Good idea. Let's skip it.
Pooped. Any change in the boy yet, Pa?
Yep.
Oh, good. You mean he's growing?
Nope. He's losing weight.
The old man even made a tiny track out in the backyard, and Tom would stretch his muscles by running around and around by the hour.
Good lad, Tom. You just ran the 4-minute yard. But you still haven't grown a cussed inch.
Alas, by now it had become quite clear that nothing they could do would make Tom grow. It looked like he would just have to stay small.
Son, I'm afraid that only being 2 inches tall, one of them little things you just gonna have to learn to live with.
I noticed that.
But try as he might, Tom found it impossible to adjust to his little problem and be happy. And one day, he finally came to a decision.
I can't stand living here this way. It's time for me to marry, so I'm going out into the world and seek a bride.
You can't do that, boy. Why, the cards are all stacked against you.
Don't say it, Father. I know. But my mind is made up, and I must try. Farewell.
And Tom struck out all by himself and into the cold, strange world that lay ahead.
Oh, poor Tom. He never gonna find anyone small enough to be his bride.
I know.
This might have been the end of the story, and all would have lived unhappily ever after, but for one thing. Soon after Tom had left, they received a letter from him with some very startling information.
Ma! Our Tom's got a job in town, and he found himself a bride.
Why, land sakes. Where do you suppose that tricky little Dickens found a sweetie as teeny as he is?
I don't know, but the wedding's tomorrow, and we're invited. Come on, Ma, we're heading for town.
The old woodchopper and his wife had never been to town before because until now they never had a reason. But when they arrived the next day, a most amazing discovery was made.
Well, if this don't take the rag off in the bush, no wonder we couldn't get Tom to grow. That little stinker was normal all along.
My goodness, dear. How come your mother and father are so big?
Very simple, honey. They're from Texas.
And they all lived ever after, which is just about all you can expect with a situation like this.
Sparkles and fun for you with Little Miss Jewels doll comes with magic wand and 24 jewels. Extra jewel packs sold separately.
This Megatoon Monday, Nick gives you a 5-hour-long Mega Jolt of Nick's newest bouncing babies. It's the Muppet Babies on Megatoon Monday. This Monday on Nick.
Work it out, see it through.
Nice try.
Bring out the tiger in you. Let's break, Tony.
You got it.
Winners, practice hard and eat smart, like this complete breakfast, including the sweet crunch of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
They're great.
Hey, play for the court.
You're on. So show 'em you're a tiger. Show what you can do.
Take it.
Taste the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Bring out the tiger in you.
And you.
Peabody here. Contrary to public belief, a corsair is not hard oxygen, but a pirate. And on today's excursion into the past, Sherman and I encounter a host of corsairs. Set the Wayback Machine for the harbor of Tripoli, Sherman.
Where's that, Mr. Peabody?
In the Mediterranean. Today we visit one of America's great sea fighters, Stephen Decatur. Wayback wasted no time in spanning the years and depositing us aboard the good ship Enterprise. There was Lieutenant Decatur with an eye trained on the enemy's harbor.
What's she doing now, sir?
Nothing. She's just sitting there.
We couldn't help but overhear your conversation, Lieutenant. Is there a lady in distress?
Oh, not a lady, sir. A ship, the Philadelphia. The Corsairs captured her, and I'm afraid they intend to turn her against us.
Why don't you destroy the Philadelphia, Mr. Decatur?
We thought of that. It was our intention to set her on fire.
What stopped you?
We ran out of matches.
I suggested that an undercover party make its way into the city to pick up some matches. Unfortunately, the only volunteers were Decatur, Sherman, and myself. We searched for a match store in vain, and then Decatur had a brainstorm. He hid in an alley, waiting for an innocent-looking passerby. When one finally approached, he dashed out and, in a cautious voice, asked,
"Got a match?"
As luck would have it, that innocent passerby was the chief of police.
You are spies. Shoot them.
We were escorted to a courtyard wall where 20 rifles were leveled at us.
Ready. Aim.
Just one moment, if you please.
What is it you like? A cigarette, a blindfold?
No. But I believe international law clearly states that condemned men are to be granted one last wish.
Oh, forgive me. I make a boo-boo. What is it you wish?
We wish not to be shot.
Huh?
You heard me. I said we wish not to be shot.
Corporal!
Yes, Sergeant.
You hear what he wants for his last wish?
I hear it.
Does that make sense to you?
Well, sure, Sarge. We always give everybody a last wish.
Hey, you're right. Okay, we don't shoot them.
And so the firing squad returned to their quarters, and as for Decatur, Sherman, and myself, we lost ourselves in the dark streets of the city.
Time is running out, but I have another plan.
Decatur's plan was pretty much the same as his last one. He hid in an alley, waited for an innocent-looking passerby, dashed out as the passerby approached, but instead of asking, "Got a match?" he said,
"Got a candle?"
In this case, lightning struck twice. It was the same chief of police. We faced the same lineup of spy suspects, and what was worse, we faced the same firing squad.
Ready? Aim!
I hate to interrupt you again, sir, but...
It'll do you no good this time. We are forbidden to grant the last wishes.
I wasn't going to ask for one. We merely wondered about our last meal.
Last meal? Corporal, do they get a last meal?
Don't ask me. I never been executed.
Okay, we give you a last meal. What do you want?
Seafood. Some nice, fresh seafood. The only seafood restaurant in the vicinity was just off the wharf. It was there that we dined. I insisted the sergeant and his men join us, and it was my pleasure to do the ordering.
Oh, boy, that was delicious.
Yes. Oysters are delectable, aren't they?
You bet. Only how come you and your spy friends didn't eat no oysters?
Because oysters aren't in season this month. That's why.
Oh, well, that explains it. Anyone who would eat oysters out of season, is it?
Now's our chance. We'll board the Philadelphia and burn her.
But how without a match?
It did seem an impossible task, but one I overcame easily. Merry Christmas, everyone! Merry Christmas!
What is this? What are you doing aboard this boat?
I am Santa Claus, and these are my helpers. Ho, ho, ho! We have stockings just crammed with goodies for you and your men.
Hey, that's wonderful. Give them to us.
Oh, no, Captain. Stockings must be hung over a fireplace.
No, we don't got no fireplace.
Well, an ordinary fire will do. Just build a fire and we'll hang the stockings over it. The Corsairs built a fire, all right, a fire that eventually consumed the Philadelphia. Our task successfully completed, we returned to the Enterprise and had dinner with Stephen Decatur.
That was some experience, Mr. Peabody.
It certainly was, Sherman. We not only helped the American cause, but we are in on the birth of a new profession.
New profession?
Yes, these men who are serving food to Decatur. I'd call them Decaturers, wouldn't you?
If you should put them side by side, you would quickly see that there is a vast difference between Rocket J. Squirrel and Boris Badenov.
Of course, there is a big difference. Squirrel has blue eyes.
But the biggest difference is that Rocky, being true of heart, looks up to Bullwinkle as his hero.
That's right. Because I am trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and stupid.
Bullwinkle is also full of integrity.
I am not. I always tell the truth.
Boris, on the other hand, looks up to the most successful and dastardly criminal in the country as his hero, Fingers Scarnose.
Right, because Scarnose is untrustworthy, disloyal, not helpful, unfriendly, rude, unkind, bad boy, sourpuss, crooked, cowardly, dirty, and would sell his own mother for a nickel.
Fingers Scarnose operates right out in the open. He and his criminal activities have been going on for years. And so far, the law has been unable to do anything about it.
If I only had a witness to testify against Scarnose, he'd go up the river for 40, 50, maybe 60 days.
Chief, we've got a witness.
At last. Send him in immediately.
Impossible.
How come?
We can't get the cement off his feet.
Can this go on forever?
You bet your blue booties it will. Nobody will ever put the finger on fingers.
Is there no one who will testify against this blight on the nose of society? Is there not a hero who will step forward and bravely say,
I will do it.
You'll do what?
I will go down to the store and pick up a bag of onions.
What for?
For this peanut butter pound cake I'm baking. The only way I can get it to weigh a pound is to put onions in it.
Okay, but don't be gone too long, Bullwinkle.
And with no further fooling around, Bullwinkle hurried out of the house and down the street toward the onion store. At the very same instant, Boris and Natasha hurried out of their hideout and ambled along until they finally came to rest in front of the big house on 92nd Street.
Here we are, honey bun. This is the house of my hero, Scarnose. Some class, huh?
Yes, darling, but why are we here?
To get autograph. What else? And look, Natasha, a little something I bet you didn't know I got.
What is it, sweetie? Yeast mold?
No, his lock of hair from Scarnose.
He's still using that greasy kid stuff.
By that time, it was 1:30, the exact time that Scarnose, surrounded by his trusted finks, always left the house to pull a job. It was then that a sickening turn of events took place. The big black getaway car pulled up in front of the local bank, and Scarnose and his mob dashed inside to hold it up. The sickening part is that Bullwinkle's destination, the onion shop, was right next to the bank. The onion-seeking moose went into the onion shop and immediately came out carrying a bag of onions, for as we all know, it doesn't take long to pick up a bag of onions. Bullwinkle found himself directly in front of the bank, just as the holdup went into full swing.
My, the mosquitoes are out early this year. I had better take a cab, or I'll be a mass of angry red rats by the time I get home.
Mistaking the getaway car for a taxi, the confused moose got inside, followed closely by Scarnose and his getaway-minded mob.
Calling all cars, calling all cars. Scarnose did it again. Never mind trying to get the money back. Just find a witness. Watch for a black getaway car with a moose inside. It is believed the moose is a witness.
Hokey smoke, a moose? There's only one moose I know of around here, and that's Bullwinkle.
Will Scarnose and his thugs notice that a moose is in the car with them? Will they realize that Bullwinkle is a witness? Don't let anything keep you from our next episode entitled The Half-Shot Moose, or Testify My Eye.
Hang tight. Nickelodeon's Moose-a-Rama will be right back.
Would you jump into the jaws of the great white shark? You'll have to win on Nickelodeon's brand new season of Family Double Dare.
Family Double Dare starts this weekend at 6, 5 Central.
We're hungry!
Play Hungry, Hungry Hippos!
Fun, 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 like a ton. They're hungry, hungry hippos. It's a wild, wild race. Feed your hippos space. They're hungry, hungry hippos.
It's Hungry, Hungry Hippos! Whoever gobbles up the most marbles wins!
You better eat fast, fast food won't last. They're hungry, hungry hippos. It's fun, 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 like a ton. They're hungry, hungry hippos.
Hungry, Hungry Hippos from Milton Bradley!
Coco's my name, and as you can see, I'm swinging through the jungle with my Cocoa Krispies. When out of the sky drops a giant pest, who takes my Cocoa Krispies back to his nest. It's the chocolatey taste he wants to try, but he's about to learn a new way to fly. Bye. Kellogg's Cocoa Krispies are such a chocolatey and delicious part of this complete breakfast. Even the milk turns chocolate with every bite so chocolatey. Oh, everybody wants my Cocoa Krispies.
From Walt Disney Pictures, they were a disaster on the ice.
That hurt!
What they needed was a miracle.
Anybody could beat these pansies.
What they got was Gordon Bombay.
You think losing is funny? Well, not at first, but once you get the hang of it.
And together, they'll prove that it doesn't matter if you win or lose.
How many fingers am I holding up?
You wouldn't know that anyway.
It's how you play the game.
He almost hit me that time. But you're the goalie. It's supposed to hit you. That sounds stupid to anyone else.
The Mighty Ducks, rated PG, parental guidance suggested. National sneak preview this weekend.
You are in the O-Zone. And now back to Nickelodeon's Moose-a-Rama.
Hi, poetry people. Today's poem is the saga of a singing waiter, Tommy Tucker. That's me. Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. What shall he have? Brown bread and butter. How shall he...
Waiter?
Sir?
How's the Irish stew tonight?
Oh, the taters are old and the meat is a fright. Everything is left over from Saturday night. We sweep it all up, put it into a pot, and tell you it's real Irish stew that we got.
What about the chicken liver?
Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away, 2, 3, 4. There, they embalm our chicken liver, and that's what you get today.
Maybe I'll just have salad with Russian dressing.
Russian dressing! Tomatoes, beets, and ketchup. We used to make it red. Just put it on your salad, and you'll wish that you were dead. Hey!
Tommy Tucker, I got something for you.
What is it, boss? My brown bread and butter?
No, this.
How about that? 5 minutes on the job, and already I got a raise.
No one can ever say that our last episode was a total loss, for as you remember, we learned beyond a doubt that Bullwinkle really takes the cake when it comes to baking a cake.
What do you mean, worthy onions? I thought you were baking a cake, Bullwinkle.
Well, pity sakes, I am. The mess here in the kitchen should tell you that.
You put onions in a cake.
Doesn't everybody?
No, and we're out of onions. You used the last one on your cornflakes this morning.
Darn. Now I will have to trot down to the onion store and get some.
I wish Bullwinkle would stop eating so many onions. They might hurt his stomach.
Indeed, they might hurt the moose's stomach. In fact, going after those onions might hurt the entire moose to the extent that he is killed dead. For when Bullwinkle left the onion shop with a bag of Bermudas, he passed directly in front of the bank, which at the time was being severely robbed by none other than the notorious Finger Scarnose.
Good heavens! I wonder why there are so many mosquitoes here in front of the bank. I will avoid their little stingers by taking a cab home.
Mistaking the getaway car in front of the bank for a taxi, Bullwinkle got inside, followed closely by Finger Scarnose and his getaway-minded mob.
Calling all cars, Finger Scarnose just robbed the bank again. Be on the lookout for a getaway car with a confused moose in it.
A getaway car with a confused what in it?
Confused moose in it, that is all.
Gee, that's got to be Bullwinkle, and he's in trouble. I gotta see.
With that, the plucky squirrel shot into the air to search the city in hopes of finding Bullwinkle in time. But time was rapidly running out, for in the speeding getaway car below...
My, look at all of that money. What did you fellers do, rob a bank or something?
Oh, a witness, eh? Let him have it, boys.
In an instant, every gun in the gangster-infested car was being pointed at Bullwinkle and his bag of onions. Fortunately, it is difficult to hit even something big as a moose while riding in a speeding getaway car. But though Bullwinkle was left unpunctured, his bag of onions was shot to pieces, filling the car with onion juice. Just like with East Lynn, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Driving with tears in their eyes, the car spun out of control. At the corner of 42nd and Broadway, Bullwinkle was thrown clear and onto the pavement.
Holy smoke! A moose just fell out of that car down there. It must be Bullwinkle.
Rocky zoomed to the side of his fallen friend and was a greatly relieved squirrel to find him unscratched.
I may be unscratched, but I got a large bump on my antlers. That makes me a 7-pointer.
Bullwinkle, do you know what happened?
Well, of course I know what happened. What?
You are a witness to one of Finger Scarno's crimes.
I am?
Yes, and now you can testify and send Scarnose to prison forever.
See, that's right. But what about the overcoat?
What overcoat?
The cement overcoat Mr. Scarnose will put on me when he finds out.
Well, you let me worry about that.
How comforting.
At last, there is a witness against Finger Scarnose, and hot information like that is mighty hard to keep a secret. By that afternoon, every newspaper in the country carried the story.
Extra, extra! Read all about the moose who's going to sing Scarnose into Sing Sing.
Boy, I wouldn't want to be in that moose's shoes.
Do mooses wear shoes?
Okay, so I wouldn't want to be in his hoofs.
Who would?
Nobody would.
Anybody want to buy some moose hoofs cheap?
Will Bullwinkle live long enough to be quizzed by the DA? Be with us next time for Whatever Happened to Joel Copperman, or Get That Quiz Kid.
Get Smart is next, so why not play along with a little game of Follow the Leader? It's easy.
Just watch me and do exactly as I do.
And it's relatively safe, so follow the bouncing Max on Get Smart.
Remember, experience isn't everything.
Next on Nick at Night.
That's Tommy. He's not like other babies.
Tommy Pickles makes the girls go gaga on Rugrats every Sunday at 10:30, 9:30 Central on Nickelodeon.